Brothers and sisters, a week ago today, we hosted an event right here at Dar Al-Hijrah. We talked about knowing your rights. We had a citizenship application clinic, and we had the Attorney General of Virginia stand right here and talk to us about the immigration discrimination that's going on in our country. Earlier this week, the Virginia Republican Party issued 2 statements publicly questioning the integrity of Dar Al-Hijrah, our community, the Council on American Islamic Relations, and the Attorney General himself, the highest law enforcement officer in the Commonwealth of Virginia. It was deeply disappointing. Now, I'm not here to bash political parties or to support political parties. Democratic, Republican, Green Party, blue, purple, pink, it doesn't matter. But what we are here to do is to call out hate when it's going against anyone, even if that hatred is coming from our own community. You know, it's important that we understand when to speak up. And today we have dozens of leaders from our best partner, V.O.I.C.E, with us today. In less than 24 hours, 40 people came to support us in our community to show that they're standing in solidarity. Elected officials are here, faith leaders are here, Jewish, Christian, people of other traditions, to show us that they care about us, that we are them and they are us. We are one community. I want to introduce Delegate Marcus Simon. Right here down the road is his district, and he has a few words for us today. Thank you, Delegate.
Thank you, Colin, and thank you all for having me. My name is Marcus Simon. I represent the 53rd District, which is just up the road, and I also bring greetings from my good friend, Delegate Alfonso Lopez, who represents this area that we're in now. You know, it's interesting to hear the Imam, you know, he was talking about social justice. He was talking about the importance of affordable housing and fair wages and all the hard work we do, and that's what makes America great. And he's right about that. That is what makes America great. I think we all want the same thing. We all want to make America great, but what many of us understand is that you in this community make America great. You are what makes America great. When we work together, when we come together in a common cause to achieve a combined purpose, to lift other people up, to make life better for everyone, to improve their wages, their living conditions, their housing. That's what makes America great. Unfortunately, it's become fashionable among some. This is a better microphone? There we go. Unfortunately, it's become fashionable among some. They think it gets them votes to try and divide us, to turn us against each other, to take people's fear, their uncertainty, their natural inclination to be uncertain about those things they're not familiar with, and drive wedges between us and turn us against each other, divide us into groups, and then try and pick off the groups one at a time. They think that's a winning strategy. I know that they're wrong about that, and I hope that you know that as well. So I'm here. I spoke with Attorney General Herring's office. I want to tell you that he is undeterred.
That's right.
He will not apologize.
That's right.
He knows that he was doing the right thing in the right place at the right time for all the right reasons.
That's right.
And you know, when the Republican Party sends out a message like that and tells General Herring to apologize, I don't think they expect him to do it. But they're also sort of sending a subtle message to the rest of us that coming here could be dangerous for you politically, that we can turn that as a message against you. We'll use that to try and hurt you. And I want you all to know that the first thing I thought when I read that message, that we shouldn't be at Dar Al-Hijrah, that people shouldn't come here, was when can I get here next? Because I want to be here with Dar Al-Hijrah. I want to show you all that we are with you. We support you. You have a friend. In all of us. We will continue to have your back. We will continue to do what's right. We will continue to push back, and I will do my best, Imam, to use mild language, although sometimes it's difficult, to let folks know that we are with you. We will not tolerate hate. We will not tolerate prejudice. We will not tolerate threats against members of our community. We are here. We have your back. We love you.
Thank you so much. Brothers and sisters, Dr. King reminds us we will soon forget the words of our enemies, but long remember the silence of our friends. And as you can see, there's no silence on stage today. So I want to introduce Rabbi Jeffrey Sachs from Temple Rodolph Shalom, one of our best friends.
Thank you, Colin. I really just want to second what Delegate Simon said, and perhaps because we're in a house of God, add a few words about our respective faiths. You talked earlier about Pharaoh and about Moses. Well, we Jews love to talk about Moses and Pharaoh. In fact, this evening and tomorrow we'll be reading the story, the part of the Torah that speaks about Moses finishing up the preparations of building the tabernacle and getting ready for the Israelites wandering in Egypt. And the commandments from God are to build a holy nation. But the name of the Torah portion, and the first word of the Torah portion is Vayakhel, which means to gather the community together. We use this word a lot, Kehillah, community. This was really Moses' challenge, to build a holy nation. The first thing was to gather people together, to create community, to bring people together. And it's through coming together that we can be a holy nation, a holy community, and that we can do the things that we all want to do to make this country and this world a better place. And so, like Delegate Simon said, we need to not divide each other, but we need to stand together. And we, my Jewish community, stands with you, as I know that you do with us. And all of us in the V.O.I.C.E community of all different faiths want to send the same message to you today, as we all will in difficult times for anyone in our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi. We have another friend from the Christian community, Reverend Tuck Bauerfeind from St. Luke's in Alexandria. Reverend.
Hey. Good afternoon. Peace.
Salam. Walaikum.
Salam. I've got a lot of Republican friends, and all of them would agree that, with me, I think, that this idea that because in 2011 or so, there was an imam here who left and was later implicated in acts in another country. It shouldn't have anything to do with anyone here, anyone who's worshiping here. My Republican friends and my Christian friends, my members of my parish, would say that the thing that unites us all is our common love of God. We all love God. We love Him. We love God. The other thing that unites us is that we all respect the rule of law. Because God's given us laws to live by, the first and foremost among them is that we love the Lord our God, and that we love our neighbors as ourselves, is the second. We respect the rule of law, and those laws, above all others, ought to govern our hearts and our actions. And my Republican friends, the ones that I have, would agree that you don't prosecute people because they look like somebody who did something bad. You focus on prosecuting the criminal, not people who look or worship or associate with him, not even members of his or her own family. People in our families do wrong things sometimes, and we shouldn't be blamed for them. We need to have a more sophisticated system of justice, and law commands us not to prosecute people who are innocent, but to only prosecute the guilty. And so I'm not here to say anything about the Republican Party in Virginia. I think they're largely made up of good people, but all of our political parties adopt strategies that try to create power in their own way. What we're doing here in V.O.I.C.E is trying to build power through personal relationships. And personal relationships rooted in a common love of God, a common respect for the law, and the understanding that it's by those two things that people ought to be judged, not by anything else. So it's in that spirit and for that reason that I come here today, and I want to assure you that in my community, nobody is, no one I know is targeting Muslims because they're Muslim. And I will, if I ever hear of that, I'll be the first to stand up and correct them.
Our final speaker took the day off of work to be here with you. Florence Dale is a teacher in the public school system. She teaches ESL, and she wanted to say a few words. Florence.
Hello. I am so very pleased to be here. To be very clear, I took half a day. It's hard as a teacher to take a full day. But when I heard about this, I thought, you know, there are 3 reasons why I needed to be here. Number 1, like many of us here, I too am an immigrant. I am an immigrant from El Salvador. And so the current rhetoric in this country is extremely hurtful. Number 2, as a Christian, but above all as someone who loves God, how can I claim to love God? How can I every Sunday say that I will work for the love and the respect and the dignity of every human being and yet not be here? Right? Right? When we say every human being, we mean every human being, right? One thing I learned from my wonderful priest is that when Christ died on the cross and he stretched out his arms, he did so for everyone. He did not leave anyone out, period. And that's all I needed to know. And number 3, as a teacher of students from all over the world who are on a daily basis confronting the very things that we are, how can I not be here? It's difficult for us as immigrants, as religious minorities, as any number of things that you want to say, any number of things for which we're being targeted. It's difficult for us as adults. I cry just about every other day. And then I think, what's it like for my kids? They're worried. They're concerned. They're supposed to be children. They're supposed to be worried about what the weather is going to be like so they can play soccer at recess. They're supposed to be worried about, you know, reading, math, right? Being children, where they're going this weekend. They shouldn't be worried about mom and dad being taken away in any number of ways, right? They don't need to be worried about being called names. They don't need to be worried about anything other than being children. And so for that reason, for all those reasons, I'm here with you. There is nothing but love in my heart. There's nothing but admiration for the strength and the courage and the love to be here. So thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. I also want to recognize Senator Favola and Delegate Boysko also joining us today, showing their support. Please give them a round of applause. And I'll leave you with this. There is no way this would have happened today if we didn't have relationships through voice. Let's get it up for voice. It is getting to know each other, really getting to know each other, sitting down for a cup of chai, 20 minutes. Who are you? What do you really care about? And through that, building power around values that we all believe in, and doing something to make our society better for everybody. So jazakallah khair and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.